Hello, it's Carlos Tanner from the Ayahuasca Foundation. Thanks so much for coming back. This is episode 4 of this new preparation, participation, and integration 10-part series. Thanks so much for joining me again. I hope that you did watch the first 3 episodes. Those were the preparation component of this series. And that's where we talked about how we can ready our minds, our bodies, and our souls, our spirits, for what could be a potentially transformative experience. In the case of attending an ayahuasca retreat, it could be hopefully something that we receive a great deal of benefit from on many different levels in our healing, in our desire to improve our well-being. Some of the key elements that were presented in those first 3 episodes were the context of the story, how we tell the story. And one of the biggest keys was that we want as much awareness as possible, and that by making certain lifestyle changes, we can increase sensitivity, which creates an opportunity for an expansion of self-awareness if we have the right attitude. And that attitude that I think is so wonderful in fostering that self-awareness is curiosity. And I talked about how curiosity was built off of the word cure, and that curiosity is the mindset of healing. So now that we're getting into the participation phase, I think that we want to continue to view our story and attempt to achieve as much awareness as possible through the mindset of curiosity. Now, when you're on an ayahuasca retreat, or perhaps going to psychedelic assisted therapy, or taking a psychedelic, or doing something that you feel is intended to bring about some sort of transformative change in your life for the better, and then an improvement of well-being or a level of healing, then the level of awareness that you're having and the curiosity to seek it out is amplified by the practices of that experience. Taking a psychedelic, especially taking a medicine like ayahuasca in the context of a ceremony, perhaps in an indigenous setting or in the Amazon rainforest like we offer at the Ayahuasca Foundation, can certainly amplify the opportunity for self-awareness. But having the right attitude, the right mindset, and the right tools to be able to navigate that can really optimize those opportunities so that you get the best results and the most out of them. And that's what we'll hopefully be talking about here. Now, I mentioned earlier that I like to use a spectrum from negative 100 to positive 100. I think that it's a very easy way to present the reality that is not black and white of all of the different shades that might be in a particular opposing dichotomy, something like unhealthy to healthy, for example. But another example would be from having energies of fear, which would be in the negatives, to energies of trust, which would be in the positives. And our goal essentially in that preparation was moving out of the fear-based energies and into those trust-based energies. And that's why I think that curiosity is such a wonderful attitude and mindset to have, because built into curiosity is acceptance. And acceptance is definitely going to be a key when you're undergoing healing treatment, especially one that is as intense as ayahuasca can be, and the rest of the plant medicine tradition. So trusting the process is a great mantra to have. You've probably heard it already, right? Trust the process. Another way of saying that would be to understand that whatever happens in your process is your process. That way, when something comes into your awareness, and it might be unpleasant, it might be uncomfortable, it might be just something that you wish that you didn't experience or didn't need to look at, or however feel that you remember whatever happens in the process is the process. Therefore, let me be curious about this. What is this? What is happening here? What are these energies? What am I feeling? What are my emotions? What am I thinking? What are my thoughts? What are these sensations? All of that helps you to accept what's happening and hopefully frame it in the context that this is an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for learning, and therefore not only do I accept it, but I really want my goal to be to embrace it, to embrace the opportunity to grow and learn from the experience, even though the experience itself might be unpleasant or uncomfortable. And that will set yourself up. You'll be able to go along a lot further in your process if you're able to adopt a mindset like that. Now, one of the things that we talked a little bit about also in the last episode was that ayahuasca is not just a set of chemicals, even though some people might view it that way. In the indigenous perspective, it's much more than that. It is a spirit. And ayahuasca is a plant that has an intelligence, and it has a very unique consciousness and a unique personality, you could say. And when we drink ayahuasca in a ceremony led by indigenous healers or healers that were trained in ancestral traditions, we give ourselves the opportunity to open a line of communication and communion with the spirit of ayahuasca, as well as the spirits of a lot of other different beings, plants, spirits, or animal spirits, or our own ancestral spirits, or the spirits of all kinds of beings that become available when we're in that space that I feel is that space of expanded awareness. And it's important to remember that these are conscious beings so that we can communicate with them, and we should communicate with them. Sometimes I think people might think that ayahuasca is like a roller coaster and that you just have to hold on and make it through, or maybe enjoy the ride if you have a positive mindset about it. But I really think it's much more than that. In fact, if I were to use a metaphor, I would liken it to riding a horse, in the sense that you recognize that the horse has intelligence. It's clearly a very intelligent and conscious being, but it's also more powerful than you. And in order to work with a horse that you're going to get up on and ride, communication is very, very important. You don't want to try to control the horse, but at the same time, you don't want to just let go of the reins and let the horse do whatever it wants. Ultimately, you're striving to have a collaboration. And that means that you want to respect the power of the horse and the intelligence of the horse, or in this case, the power and intelligence of the energy of ayahuasca and the consciousness and the spirit of ayahuasca, but that you also want to let the spirit know where it is that you want to go. And also, like riding a horse, how fast you want to go. Maybe when you're riding a horse and it starts running too fast, you do want to pull the reins a little bit. Now, you're not trying to yank it to completely control or dominate the horse, because probably you're going to lose that battle, but that you do want to have that level of communication. And that can be done simply with your thoughts in communication. Now, we kind of practiced that a little bit in our preparation, and that was really getting us used to this concept, so that when you drink a substance like ayahuasca, or even if you take a different substance, or even if there is no substance involved, those spirits are there, the consciousness is there at all times. And if we do bring ourselves into an elevated state of awareness, then we can increase our capacity to receive those messages and receive the communication that we seek when we put it out. So you definitely want to be constantly communicating. Now, that doesn't mean that you're like talking every second. I didn't mean constant that way, but that you are checking in, that you are reaching out, that you are asking questions, and that you are making suggestions and allowing ayahuasca to understand where you're at in that particular moment of the process. So having that communication is essential, and obviously being curious about what is happening is also very valuable. Ultimately, at the heart of that, though, does take some courage. The fact that you're watching this probably means that you already are considering taking on some type of endeavor. Perhaps you've signed up or are looking to sign up for an ayahuasca retreat, or perhaps you've already registered or decided that you're going to do some other type of psychedelic experience or healing endeavor or some other profound thing in your life, whatever that might be, whether it's psychedelic or not. And to embark on something that might result, and perhaps hopefully will result, in a profound change, that does take courage. And I think that courage is also around the bend from curiosity, in the sense that you don't really know, and you are kind of taking a leap of faith into the unknown, and you do the best that you can. I do think that curiosity can bring us to that place of courage, but I also feel like if you're watching this video, then you've probably already generated a certain level of courage, and it does take that courage. So I applaud you, and I ask that you recognize the courage that you have, and that you're gonna be okay, that this is going to be a good process for you, as long as you can trust the process and remember that whatever happens in the process is the process, that you're moving away from fear through the process of curiosity into a state of acceptance, and ultimately beyond that into the higher realms of trust, the highest being faith, where we have a full embrace. The energies of ayahuasca fully resonate with us. We're fully communicating and in communion, in a collaborative effort towards increasing the outcome of our healing endeavors. So that's the way that I want to begin the participation phase. And then the next episode will actually get into some more practical techniques that can further elevate these attitudes, mindsets, physical sensations, and feelings that we're diving into in the participation part of this series. So thank you again for joining. I hope this was helpful in some respect. Please like and share. And if you want to leave a comment, I'd really appreciate it. Or reach out to me and let me know what you think about these, or if you have some suggestions that I might want to add for the next one. Thanks again so much. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.